This ain't not a Kush. No, not a Kush. No, not a Kush. Oh yeah, I can feel them. What are they on me eye? We are the see me sister them. They die in the street. Oh, me I can feel them. When they see me brother them in the streets. Yeah, some they link they not. Some lay down a guts at the sleep. Oh. So when I ask them, tell me say na Kush. Nike pull roll and son of them food. They prefer for left the house, they gonna get so all day they Kush. Oh yeah, say not a Kush. Me brother don't before him them. Say not a Kush. So we they use the old age my youngest. Say not a Kush. The youths them just they die. Say not a Kush. Sorry we say that's a Kush. Hey, push for die. We say that's a Kush. Papa government help we are. Say that's a Kush. Hey, push for die. Say that's a Kush. Hope for you to say, is it all?
Fambul them. On a good evening, on a good morning, on a good afternoon. I hope say any side sound happen for friend on herself. I hope say uno they do well. I hope say life has treated you fairly, life has treated you great. If you not even treat you fairly, safe, or you feel say it not treat you fairly, for the simple fact that you are alive, you can breathe. Be grateful. Be grateful for the simple fact that you are alive and you can breathe. And with any form of mercy, you will be alive tomorrow again to say either Alhamdulillah or thank you God, right? Now, I know for say Boku of na go say 5:20 this show. Matilda, they come on, not they come on because of the time will come on. Okay. Let me just take a minute to apologize to Una. As you all can see, to know me is to know that I am a woman that loves to wear color. You hardly ever see me in anything dark or anything gloomy. So basically what in this mean? It just means say I am just from a funeral. Okay, so I rush from a funeral to this desk, and hereby una can see my costume, the demeanor of my costume, tell una for say, black mourning and what have you. So for those who might have been irritated about the fact that they show late, sometimes they know they come on again today, they don't want for tell we. No, we are on, we're here. I had other obligations, other things to fulfill, but we are here now. And what's really beautiful about today's discussion is that I'm not only here with Mr. Jamboria, but like I promised una last week, I'm here with Dr. Kargbo. Right? I am here with Dr. Kargbo. When I in the kanyaka, so they can tell una how then composition, waiting in the chook plus 1% plus 2 milligram. Minus 3 milligram here, add 4 gram here, so mix and so, turn and so, you can't tell now waiting and they do to we body, right? Last week, if you remember, I spoke extensively on Kush. I talked extensively on especially the how they call herself. Now a factory, I don't know if I call it a manufacturing factory or a chemical mixing, drug mixing, laboratory, right? The burst will happen na Freetown, I believe na Allentown it was. I went extensively on other bursts them wey don't happen inside Freetown. I go, as a matter of fact, I even talk about the seizure of fentanyl. Now one of the US borders them or ports them we been destined for VOS SALONE not to so. I talk about the impact of the gravity of that and how that they been for destroy we picking their life them, we brother and we sister their life them. I was so outraged last week that I not take them easy with the audience, I not take them easy with nobody. I even put coals on fire on people's their head, and I have no regrets doing that, because if you feel say you young picking them for better, and you young picking and you young family better one, the only way where you see say you go able do you go able achieve that, then for destroy other man young picking their life and other people they young picking their life, then guess what? You deserve every coals of fire on your head, on your generation the head, on your family the head, on your lineage the head. You deserve it. And I stand by my word. Now, I don't want to take too much time because I really want to make we sit down inside this talk here. So good one. But even before we sit down inside this talk here, so 2-3 things then they way I go want for make we rub mud pan. But before I take too long, I want make Mr. Jamboria come up and tell people that I do before I introduce with special guests for tonight.
Yes, ma. Thank you very much. Fambul them una good evening, good afternoon, una Kargbo, usai una all day. Na piari afumaminu, bondesia, via na kawi ena. Me not a stranger again, una sabi me. So thank you, ma.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, this evening tell me family, if una remember clearly, shortly after the election, right, I tell una say, possibly I will come with another show if time permits. Or we go try for see how we go introduce another show. And that show they go be strictly focused on narcotics, right? Narcotics, understanding the formation of narcotics and all that thing and they, because the drug business inside the country don't so rampant that I not even feel saving the one that way they inside the well body business they understand what's in the gun. And it would be so happen that a son of the soil, a very vast, very knowledgeable in this business, the article, the right article, say what person the right article, the research. And he not only the write the article, he dey inside, he understand the business proper one. And this person are no other person than, Dr. Robert Kargbo. I don't get a privilege for talk to him extensively. As a matter of fact, we even didn't get a plan. Honestly, it's just that, work and other things took over. And then I realized that I can't really dedicate a full show to this. But I still dey try. If me not able to pick them up fully, I will try and see if we sister show can pick them up or another show can pick them up, because I feel this is so important. And if you know anything about me, I know for say this Kush business, drug business, that thing when me don't sit down pan for years, where I don't talk about for years. I don't want to take too much time because when I know for saying I so I don't can like for blow other person in trumpet. I go make Dr. Robert Kargbo himself can blow your own trumpet. Dr. Kargbo tell family I do.
Hey, fambul them una kushe, una adu, and one for send me greetings. But I'm not able to do like Mr. Jamboria. I will come up with various languages. So we could just stop na the Creole. And so I'm so glad for join una, and I privilege for making una really join this show. And as Matilda don't indicate, me in the US, I don't deal the drug discovery for over 2 decades. I don't deal with various indications where we begin from scratch and until we're gonna market, and we really don't look at various aspects of this topic na thing within my heart very, very strongly, because I believe said we as society we get a role for play, and there are certain things where we go able for do for really mitigate this. But it's also important that we understand within they happen. So hopefully we'll get the time for make we talk about them, so that we go see within certain steps and the way we go scientifically able for take, and we go able for approach this problem in a way short that it not be a situation wherein it's one person against the other. No, this is just beyond every political argument where we go get. This is scientific, and with science, that's the only thing the tool we can able for use for solve the problem, and nothing else.
With science, that is the only tool we can use to to solve the problem and to save lives, right? Because by solving the problems, we are directly also saving lives. So today, one day we can say, Matilda, but that's like we. I don't always tell una for say, me own business, come by party, come by symbol, come by shape, come by size. I do that which is right for the green, white, and blue. If you remember a few months ago, I get na this very panel here, so the person where na the presidential advisor on mental health na salon, not also Dr. Carol Bangura, remember, and get an ISO. And also as well, I get the person as well where spearhead very strongly the opening of the first gynecological school, right? Na salon, right? When the victory of at least we force, I think 5 set of doctors them also graduate from Ghana and full-fledged, OBGYNs them. Una see where Akana also celebrate. So I had Dr. Fatou Fonasi say on this panel alongside Dr. Carol Bangura. Now Fonasi say in a women's health, right? Children, women's health, primarily belly woman health. And bringing them to term. Whereas Dr. Carol Bangura in a primarily mental health. Now they in specialty day. But what I was missing on that particular panel, and I believe say I only get into contact with Dr. Kargbo. Had I been in contact with Dr. Kargbo, Dr. Kargbo would have been on that panel, trust me, because come here, come high water, I would have found a way to convince him, right? Because that was a beautiful set of panel, but I was missing something. Both of these ladies did not been get any form of expertise in drug, in narcotics, and then come in and tell me plainly that, Matilda, we can talk around the issue, but we not get the educational background for really talk enough with enough evidence, with enough conviction on the issue. And I respected them for that and say, una no worry. As a matter of fact, if you remember, I retailored the show slightly, because if you remember, my main aim was to talk about narcotics. And waiting me bring that one day. Now where the rise in Kush, victims of Kush don't become so rampant to the point where una member then don't go so far as them in the use now the body, and they go pull the body them, grind the bones of the dead, mix it with whatever they mix it with, forget extra boost. And it been done so bad that if you remember, around December this time last year, I do a special show because una remember almost the body them bear not to show where they fell at the streets of Freetown, where them bear unidentified corpse them. Not to show people are not come for claim them. Not to because then people then they not been get owner. Now because the government needed to bury them very quickly because they were decaying. Them body them in the rotting. And we know say 100% now Kush now lead to that situation there. And before that, una know say few months before that massive burial day, where they not even bury them a separate grave. Now one pot bury them. Me say them just dig one big hole and turn about them all inside. And for me, I felt it was very inhumane that their bodies were not given a dignified send-off. And I can't talk about that. But I also talk about the fact that, say, if we don't reach Usai, even, late Etabao, remember, late Etabao, when Napuli go pull in Tito, a day he left. You guys saw that very emotional show that I did here. I could not hold myself. I was crying profusely. People reached out, Matilda, are you okay? Are you okay? Your tears touched us so much. What can we do to help in that moment? And people did help in whatever way they can. I directed them to different organizations, different whatever, and they did what they are not care for no waiting and do. They came to me, I redirected them. But at the end of the day, how long do we keep this up? At the end of the day, when a nation comes forward and say, now only 50 bed the normal we get for taking patients then, in a nation of 8 point something million people, because we don't pass the 8 million threshold, or make an lie, we see the numbers, we know the numbers. Thinking Totogbe on all they want, but we know the numbers. So in a nation of 8 point something million people, with unemployment at over 80%, right? With the median age of the nation being at least 15. Now listen to some of the numbers that my region. We are in crisis. We are in serious crisis. And if we young one then feel say the only solution and the only remedy or the only thing we therefore look up to for where they can say make we relax the mind, make we forget what we trouble small. Now this very dangerous drug where they eat them from the inside out. We cannot sit back. This is a collective issue. This is not a collective problem. We need a collective solution. So yes, once in a while I'll break protocol and forget about, the politics and the politicking that is going on. And if I'm not able to, like I say, slot Dr. Kargbo into a show, you will be hearing us talking about this for as often as I can. Just like today, where I feel say, in Salone now, we all know one fambul. We're talking about a drug crisis here. Why should I not make Salone we all know one fambul? Why we not for talk about the genesis of drug use, drug abuse in our country? Because it started somewhere. Kush not just boss no more and take over. There's been an appetite for something at some point. And because that appetite, they keep augmenting. And with borders, the access to borders, international borders, it has become worse. Mr. Jamboria, I want to make you kind say how we for understand drug inside with society. Who say, to you your knowledge, who say this make I take small, make I relax, begin, to now, make I take small, make I die, come.
Drug not today starts in Salone and not only Sierra Leone. Drug is connected to the history and culture of the black race. You see, one thing we'll get to understand when a people exposed to acute and protracted suffering, they would always go to find solace in something. Drug are the opposite of religion. The black race are the most religious race on earth, because in religion we find solace for all the things the world they lose in this life. The history of drug as it is goes way back to the time where slavery started in Africa. And one thing we forget clear, it was not Europeans that started slavery in Africa. To enslave each other is part of our culture, it's part of our mentality. And we are still doing it as we speak. We therefore learn to face certain realities for make we able to solve some of them problems. Otherwise, we're not able to solve them. We go talk all the chemistry and biology, oh Sabina, huh? That's how they look for profit. You go making drug because it day in with DNA. It's an epigenetic problem we have. That when we get problem, we not sit down, we think, say, beside this problem, come out, I go solve them. Instead, we dey go for alcohol, for other substances, for drowse the problem. Then people who are rogue will forever be manufacturing more dangerous, after Kush, other dangerous types they get for come. And people will be prone to use them for as long as we get inequality in our society. When you look at the history of drug abuse in Sierra Leone and in most parts of West Africa, as a matter of fact, it's not only about when people and they suffer, it's also entied with some of we cultures. Like Omole, not with Mankera in Africa, the meat and they. Because them you want to sell their own Omole, now I make them say illicit. But it's part of the culture of African societies for manufacture that gin. Then they use them for a lot of cultural ceremonies. Then they use them for drowse pain. Then they use them for kill certain diseases. We've been small, we picking they get measles, chicken pox. Now Molly then they rub and Mrs. said they rub and for me. We have been get they were small. Okay? Then this marijuana, then we get all out and they call tabataba, then they get that plant with and they put around the house for stop snakes, then for Canada also, then they call kumejara. People have been using this since Jesus was a boy. But by and large, when we society begin take an economic turn, when the Western economics begin eating to we society and break the cultural fabric, drug abuse be increased in Sierra Leone. As a matter of fact, one of the places them we be instigate and move the RAF into success during before they even start the war, now been them put there. People let me they go now then jamba put, then go sit on there, then preach them philosophy and the ideology, then smoke, commodity. In those days when people were taken into slavery, the only way they go console themselves now for take some substance. Mostly in those days now being jamba. And now it is part of us. And people who are economically corrupt and smart, then they capitalize on that. And they capitalize on that. I remember in the 70s, we begin see other drugs than the can of Sierra Leone. Take to the point where by 1980, the government of Sierra Leone began for making them train some people them. They may get an anti-drug unit will be attached to CID. The head of that unit was somebody who is a personal friend. He's now retired. OBM Somasa. He did a very efficient job at that time because he had all the equipment, he'd been connected with DEA, etc., etc. Maybe they get international support. But of late, when we go to war, the war exacerbates, make the problem bigger. Because some of the people, they conscript, the titi, they conscript, they put them through harsh treatment.
Big sir. You don't use one big English now, so conscript.
The one they hold by force for go join RUF. They put them under harsh treatment, then put them under drugs for do certain things. And from that point today, the war became very disastrous. As a matter of fact, several publications there on that, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, they do publications on that. There is one popular publication where they make in 2003, January, we say, if you cry, we'll kill you. They're online and anybody can download them. That publication spoke largely about drug abuse, about rape, and the other heinous crimes than they. Of course,
so that's what
mentioned.
Sorious is saying.
Yes. So if we deal with this Kush crisis today, we get to look at several things. The generation now, when are the young adults, they were the children during the war years. Children learn what they live. We introduce them to drugs. So now they only know drugs when they are not happy, when things not they work for them. Now then they go take solace. The next thing we'll get for look at is, in as much as this drug issue be known, why it for increase now? Are we seeing people who were associated with the war now in control? Because you use what you know. And as far as I'm concerned, the drug issue in Sierra Leone is connected somehow to control. When people don't have things to do, they become restive. The only way you can keep them quiet is to introduce them to drugs. That happened in America in the 60s. I wouldn't go further. So are we seeing a repeat of the same thing in Sierra Leone? That's my small 2 cents, man.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I think Mr. Jamboria don't really lay the stage for we, and now make a can to the experts, the professional. Dr. Robert, we know definitely for me, where I've been small. As a matter of fact, not too far from me, granny in Os, who I partly grow up. Then we get omole pala day. And when I say omole pala, not only omole no more, then they sell. As a matter of fact, when they boil the omole, where it don't reach a certain, I guess, I don't want to call it altitude, but temperature. The thinking bang me, right? Now me granny in compound. And then I can run. Say if I dey play down, I dey run go. Hey, grandma, waiting they smell so. You know? And I think they can just tell me, say, pass go inside your room. You know? But the older I became, I quickly associated that smell with waiting mean they go on. Why make I been associate the smell is because I also been get some neighbor them when then I been heavy patronages of the fluid. Let me just say. They patronize that fluid very heavily. But also, I know say that me during the war, actually me not during the war time, and me not dey salon a lot during the war. Make I be honest. But I don't know if I for say fortunate or unfortunate for witness the January 6th and all of that. I know for say around that same day during the Strasser Bio, military regime, I hear a lot about attire base. Attire, I hear a lot about Jamba back. I hear a lot about Jamba, I hear a lot about attire Omole absolutely, go up the chain. And then within we own people, and when I say within we own people, they are make them Creole people and not can cost me. And when I begin to talk, una forgive me, but una not for say this una Creole picking, get separation. They talk waiting, We young people them back been they patronize the palm wine heavily. I don't know if now the sweetness of the palm wine na can make them overdo and small or now waiting. But me just they talk about the type of liquors them where I know say been they around local liquors them or places them where I know for say denting and they been they go on. I hear you when you say this is not a political issue. However, I also know for say when there is a crisis, whoever is in power, there has to be a willingness. Buy-in from the top is very, very important, especially in that kind of thing so where we face. If you don't get the political buy-in from the top, no matter what in the underbelly or the middle belt does, they are not going to succeed because that political buy-in not there. So to you, sir, like I said, I hear you when you say it's not a political issue. But I go put onto you since you don't in this industry for so long. Don't you think political buy-in is necessary for make we chart a proper way forward?
Excellent question. Communication sometimes can be very challenging because what they refer to can be received differently. And what I mean political buying, or it is not a political issue, for understanding. It takes science for understand what they go on. And no matter which politics we put in Dande, it will just make them worse. But for solve the problem, you're completely right. It takes political will for put the structures in place. So when we don't understand the problem, we take politics out of hand, first of all, for understand the problem. When we don't understand it, then we need that information for build into the policy makers, for let them take which we don't understand for try to solve the problem. But if we left out the understanding of the problem, it could mean say we take the wrong solution for solve the problem because we're not able to understand the root of the problem, first of all. And I'm happy the history where my brother and our father, Godongi, Mr. Jamboria, it don't lay out very well. And if I can integrate the scientific past perspective in terms of history, wait to make we see this kind level of harm regarding Kush. Kush don't exist. You get in natural form. We don't day for thousands and thousands of years. In fact, that name the Kush, when you look at the region of Pakistan and India, there is a Kush region. Now they that in the beginning. You get the natural cannabis where they grow it, not a man put on it, now nature put on it. And then the synthetic one, now we really they talk about, so where we as humans don't modify, don't make them much more potent and they create so much problems. So the question is, why we see this change?
I don't want to cut you trend of thought because in one of my research and where I can listen to people them, na the space I really say, and I don't validate this, so I really say bags of leaf them, they come on Afghanistan, Kush leaf them, they come on Afghanistan, can inside salon. So now that you don't say, there are two types of Kush. There's the natural form, where then are from God to man, na God na him put that plant there, na the earth, just like where he put cassava leaf and potato leaf and crane at the ground. And then there is an artificial form. So the one way not from God, when we mortal man, now we decide for mix plantain, cassava, petete, mango inside the pot for make an ebe. Not to show.
Why don't mix and I put diesel pana?
Correct.
Yes, for make an ebe. Then instead of make we eat the ebe, we decide for go lent petrol and for go lent kerosene and turn am inside before we eat am. Not to show. Okay, more
Well,
continue, sir.
Yusuf na expert on this field because what you don't explain so exactly 90 in my mind. See Kush like water. Water don't day in existence for millions of years. But what we get for what we been do with water, we understand the bacteria with the water. We understand how to purify them. We understand how to use them in other things, and even the the various type. We figure out how to do that. It's the same thing with Kush. And in fact, certain type there where we do research for cure various diseases. But it depends on how we understand them, and it depends on how we administer them. So it gets medicinal value. But if we take the passion for become rich, the passion for become addictive, and we add certain component panam, showed that when somebody take them, they hijack the brain of the individual. So sometimes people they say, "Oh, now willpower." No, it don't get anything to do with willpower. When the Kush become very potent, it hijack the brain of the individual. So they see the individual they do things them we ordinarily not ever they do them before. So within the mechanism at which the brain, this Kush, they hijack the brain, we need to understand them. What we can do for minimize the impact of the Kush, and within our certain steps them, we individual don't already involve in this. We really not foresee them as outcast people. These people, they're very, very important because they go give you an idea as to some of the secret way they for mitigate this Kush because they already don't depend and they already don't take them. So we approach the approach well for use is very, very key because when somebody don't expose to Kush, in body, some people then they resist, in body they resistance. Some people then they do well. In fact, not only the poor, the rich self they do this. But because they are rich and the loner, the loner they're able to reach them. Because this thing, if the quest for we happiness, joy, due to all of this stress, now it make people, a lot of them, they turn to this kind of avenue, just like where Mr. Jamboria don't say. But we really need to see that at certain point is no longer about the will of the person or the external pressure. Now because the Kush don't hijack the brain. And how we go do for minimize that, and maybe we can talk about in when we get there. But just want to say, these people are no lesser people we involved in Kush. Not that anybody they try to promote them at all. No, because they are human beings just like we. They just happen to find themselves in this very addictive drug. So for give you a number, just like what you mentioned, the cassava leaf for you want cook and this, the various type of Kush. There are about 500 variants of Kush, over 500. So we not even.
I want to make you all and day, doctor. I want to make you all and day. People, this Kush, one of the but Kush. Uno can they talk about and like for say, now one grain thing. Even though uno know for say, inside this Kush here, so uno can mix them with other thing them for make it become lethal. Lethal meaning say it become dangerous, it become deadly. It gets the capacity for taking life. Like last week I talk, I said, Boko of you don't bury people them. But you know they hide them na they cover under blind. No one ain't na banda for say na Kush na in kill this me person. They cover under Kushu blind. Una come up with other story and tell people them. But people where they around, where don't they watch, where don't they observe, they know for say this one so now Kush now make them the tolling bell right now. No, you're waiting doctor just say. So una say Kush. But you don't want they take the term for no almost type of Kush. Una hear wetin the doctor say there are over 500 variants. Variant wey mean say variety. Variety wey mean say different type of this Kush. So wetin we dey play with right now, not a pikin thing, not a small thing. He said there are over 500 different types, as a matter of fact, with the talk show right now, I don't share this show here, so now one of my biggest platform them where get youth them inside salon all over salon. I don't go share and they make them they listen to this show. And where I done this show, they make a special video for make I tell them say if you not been watch this show, you not go listen to this show. Because one of them key how they call it deliverables them, and a big English I don't speak so. One of the important thing them where they're supposed for work on, where they're supposed for promo, where they're supposed for sensitize, they're supposed for work on and the different districts and the different region, then a push sensitization. So right now, wait till they talk, get for arm them, get for give them some super information where they go take back, go na their own street, their neighborhood, their community, for say, there was a time when we been feel say this Kush na one thing, even though we know so we the mixer, but this Kush, then get over 500 different types. Imagine that. Let that sit with you for a second. And now we they take make totobeso. Continue, doctor.
In that varieties, you get certain component of them where maybe over 30 times more lethal than the other component. So it just kind of like trade secrets, the one they were involved in this. What they go do, then go take this very little one, mix them with other one we know as little. So for increase the profit. Waiting this they do. This they create a very complicated and dangerous scenario in our body. Because when we involve pan drug discovery, waiting we they do in anything we mix like dandy, first of all, we they test them on animals. In fact, even before we go test on animals, we they put on the flask, we see how the drug they interact with human tissue. We don't understand dandy, then we go to animals, we don't do animals, then we go to humans. So this one within the mix, then they go directly, then they bypass all of that, go give human being. Extremely, extremely dangerous because the human body is very complex and sensitive. And when you look at the age group, the youth, because now one of the things where we study the human brain, we study the human development. And every stage of a human life, certain tissue then the way they develop, certain cells then the way they develop, then become very sensitive, especially the youth, at the age of between 15 and 25. Certain area in the brain, the way they develop. And the brain cells are very sensitive. So when you add Kush panam, it creates a lot of disturbance in the normal growth of the cells in the brain and the functionality of the brain. When you go to a lower age group, it becomes even more dangerous because the cells then, now the body, when you look at the human development, how we brain they grow with faculty, one side now we brain, like the right side now we brain, deal with a lot of intuition and association. But the left side deal with cognitive ability for make a decision. So that side they develop and the youth for make a decision. So when Kush hijack them, becomes extremely dangerous. So we they do the science directly in our human body, We not even understand the drug interaction. It's not just about the Kush, but about what you they eat also. What you they eat in addition to the Kush can create a dangerous situation. And we make with a study the thing in the inside animal for understand. Any new way mix with the thing them where you they take. You food the medicines as potential damage where you go to. When you look also the sensitive population, the woman them will become pregnant, the fetus when they begin they grow. This Kush is so powerful, it permeates, go into the placenta and go inside the small baby. The organ from the baby, they begin for develop. We know the first 3 months, the brain cells then begin for form. This they create a very dangerous scenario. It can modify how this Peking will turn out for be in terms of the way the organs and in thinking faculty they. So
I know one
there
doctor. So me people I remember say it was last year when a video make, as a matter of fact, it go viral because na salon that video they come away. One combrade we been there on Kush. When he born the Peking self been get affected by the Kush. Una remember that video they not also? Where the combra come saying Peking just say sleep no more, just say sleep no more, just say sleep no more, the Peking no they do nothing, the Peking just stay sleep. So finally they go find out and say, okay, where you been get this Peking in belly? You been they take any drugs, you been they do any this, find out say the mother was a Kush taker. So just like waiting doctor say, he say, belly woman, if you get belly, you they take them dangerous drug and they take her. He say the placenta, the fetus, well, he say that water day or that thing will connect you and the Peking. They go inside, the drug they go inside, and they go change the Peking system, change how the Peking for time, change the Peking in brain cells, change the Peking in body in organ them. Now that day, if you remember that video day, waiting doctor just talk about so, now I mean they happen to that woman they in Peking. And the truth is that we know there are many more of them inside salon. So una see, not to them one the way just they nod na treat na the problem. Not to them one them way them people tired and decide for anger and abandon na the problem. Not to the one them way sometimes them people forsake a shame or waiting and call them decide for put them a shuku blind. The problem boku. It pass the one them what would they see. And if you listen to waiting doctor say over the 500 plus different type of Kush the way they, he said there are some of them that have 30% more lethalness. Means say the drug portion, the heaviness of the drug inside them, it passed that one self way we been see of the how they call them, of the fentanyl. Because he said 30% more. The fentanyl one the other time it was 20-something%, not so. So let these numbers be sitting with you a little bit. Now then kind thing so now that make us say we well body people inside in the country. They don't understand waiting don't reach we. Waiting don't catch we. If them be understand waiting don't reach we and waiting don't catch we. Not to work at them in for the work and I run them in for the run. For make sure say we tackle this thing so. Doctor, I want only make you recover your breath small. And they go to Mr. Jamboria. Doctor says something about, there is medicinal Kush, right? It gets medicinal components. The reason we make another one for make we even talk about the medicinal side of it, I know we people them. Now so them in begin with Jamba. And say Jamba gets medicinal factor. From medicinal factor. He became something else. So dear Mr. Jamboria, I want make you go inside small how them introduce Jamba. And
Well,
why make we move from medicinal factor to something else?
you see, we get to be honest with ourselves at times. This drug issue they talk about, technically, and I believe say Dr. Kargbo go agree with me. You get what they call drug use, drug misuse, and drug abuse. Even the food we they eat can be a drug. That rest and plus that's what they eat, it can be a drug. It depends on if you sabi small chemistry how for process am. When begin ferment, it turn to other thing, a drug it don't be. The Jamba issue na Sierra Leone. Now one of several drugs them where we people them be don't they use. They were using it, they were not abusing it. Now I make a begin with this use, misuse, and abuse. I know say in those days when wars and other things then be they take place, some of the warriors were forced some way somehow for use this drug before they go for fet because that will give them the mind and the confidence. They told them all kind of stories about how if they get mystical power, etc., etc. For make no more than get the confidence for use them, where go drowse them fear small, let them go fet. There are several ways these things have been used in the past. Even as a medicine, may not say them be they use them for cure certain lung and other people that will get asthma. Then may they smoke them with them. Then they put them down, then light them, inhale them. Then they open them, and they feel drowsy, sleep when they wake the asthma done. This was part of the drug use. And as you rightly say, with people them we tell them say the men asthma, then they go take an out for do other thing. That's the danger about it. But we get for be honest and open, let them know. Say this is something we can use, this is something we can misuse, this is something we can abuse. Food, if you don't eat the way do for you, you still continue for it. Now misuse it, they misuse are not also. Yes, I misuse. Now the same thing we then drug them. In the hospital, that way then they give you the one do operation. The morphine. Now almost the same like this Jamba or this Kush. But then they administer them in a way where it not they become addictive to you. Where you go take an out, like Dr. Kargbo make one point we'll get for take note of. The dangerous Kush, they're not the manufacturer and laboratories who say they get for use them for medicinal purpose. Then they manufacture them in those rogue laboratories where then they mix out other substance, then sell them as drug. And note the point we make say, not only the drug, where you don't take the drug, the kind of food we they eat.
Yeah.
All them cautions then how they go sell that dangerous drug, you don't know about that. Some food stuff then if you mix out certain other things, see, they become a danger in our system. You understand? So there are a lot of things we'll get for look at, but as I rightly emphasize, the approach to control and cure, now we'll get for find out. And if you ask me, I go say, the only way we can put this thing under control with the will of the government to participate, now for use empathy. Because Doc make a point, say, the one day where they use them, rather than we they blame them or they beat them, let we get them for ask them, what in really now your experience where you take this thing? How they make you feel?
Yes.
When we get all that data there, we go able to come out with a way for solve the problem. But all of it will only work if we use empathy. If man
Yeah.
at if man, we begin to tell and say, you not if man, they cost every day, not they left for tifo. But if you tell and say, but I know what you make you the thief, now we add up, Carlo can see all of friend, we let begin make money, let get respect for yourself. He they left the thief. They left him. Now,
Yeah.
empathy we lack now in society, now they make a lot of things to go out of hand. And another point I will make before I hand over to Dr. Kargbo.
Yes, sir.
The point about people them where they live the so-called good life who take these drugs. Make I think of one or two things would happen in Sierra Leone. I'm not saying I saw a bill, but I have an hypothesis that some of these people were Kush users. Then recent murder, then we'll get in Sierra Leone. That boy we killed that iti. This why we rape that small Pekin. That why we killing girlfriend. You want to ask, why are these young men doing things like that? Normal person, no, they grab no more commit murder. Something is wrong with the brain. So we're not even they look at the bigger picture. And this not the danger where the government not they see. They may think, oh, not all picking and they take them. But it will go round and round in a boomerang, it come back into them family circles. It happened in America in the 60s. Now, when the thing gets out of hand, now it become an official alert, then from DA and whatever. But before then, nobody cared because it was a black race problem. And I likely, as I rightly say, we'll begin, we get them now with DNA for be easily addicted to substances because we now a race who don't go through a lot of trauma. If we have to change it, we have to examine the origins, we examine some of them factors here. We look at how we go use empathy and collaboration. You therefore collaborate with the man where they addicted, let them understand each other, so you go get them for give the information we need for help and for cure himself. But the drug issue, it go always there. How we not make them say, oh, well, they can't talk, it go done. You know they done. Maybe we go control them, they left for take Kush, then go take a more gentler drug. We not they kill them. As long as stress in our society, drug go there. Not all my will manage stress.
I think so we on approach really and we on playing for really make the authorities then come together, bring on board the expert knowledge then, make them sit down at the table, make them devise a policy, not only a policy but a working policy, something that works, something that, you know, something, an actionable policy, make I put on that way, an actionable policy on how we go begin for able for minimize you know, this drug infestation, this drug crisis. You know, I want to bring doctor back. I want to bring doctor back and I want to ask doctor this question. Yeah, so, you know, some time ago, the recent trend we've been there inside salon, and we still continue for happen in some parts, some pockets and what have you. Is that you don't talk now? I so say when people take Kush. When they begin mix them with all the nyama nyama poto inside and all of that, it hijack the brain. Hijack means it take over your brain. Do ya? I want make you talk to with people in a salon. And when I say talk, this why I so no get range because I don't see them from the big man there to the ignoramus them. And they do the same thing. They feel to say when they catch person like Kush and they don't try for pull the person come on at the Kush or try for give one plate rest, they feel say one plate rest they solve the problem of Kush. That's when they get one plate rest, that person they supposed for stop the Kush. They feel say if them beat them, that person they na a how them call them na a warning. na a sign, na a strict how dem call am, how I put am sef, na a disciplinary measure for make that person dey stop for take the Kush. The one wey I see wey I actually no twist for say, we country we not ready it. It is either we are not knowledgeable, we do not have the capacity, right? And when I say capacity, I'm talking about capacity of knowledge, or is that we are so overwhelmed with it all that we don't know wetin for do. Now what I notice say that they soak them with cold water and crepe their head. Do ya sir? You don't talk na ya so say this thing na a blood thing. For something for hijack your brain, it means say they go through your bloodstream. Not also sir. So do ya want make
Yes.
you explain to people and say when you give person one plate rest, you give one cup pap or one plate cookery, or you soak am with cold water, or you crepe in head. That then also the solution for making left that cushion. Do ya sir?
So the simple analogy where I go give for that day, we all familiar with malaria. Nothing way, in fact, when I've been to do me undergraduate in school in Fabe College, I deal with malaria. We don't see any sign where we dey use threat for solve malaria. We dey go creep people in aid ways don't become infected with malaria, say don't go well. Or we go get a cookery, we say, yeah, go eat this cookery, you go well with malaria, or go get a cold water, or go get a Vito. We know they do all of that. We dey go and give the people them malaria medicine. Now because, when things don't happen, now your physiology, I know I use big English, but like when you identify, say when something don't hijack your brain, it not even listen to the external pressure. You can put gun a person, it did not mean nothing because the brain not dey respond to that. So the proper understanding of wetin dey go on, the seriousness of this, it really call for the people them within a power for take this extremely seriously. This not to just whether you sabi or whether you not sabi. This not for we all. Every Sierra Leonean can be impacted by this. Because the other way we need to also look at this is when certain things then the way we go understand and we take certain approach, we can change we approach and we begin to minimize the problem. But we don't talk on two elements just now where Mr. Jamboria herself, really bring out. Empathy. We really need dandy. We also need for talk this, not to ban shame. We person get malaria and I think we for be shameful about. No, not what they talk about openly. We need for do that. It's the same thing. Rather than the easy, I think one of the things where, as you rightly say, maybe we are overwhelmed because I believe in the Sierra Leoneans. We are highly intelligent people, but sometimes we are overwhelmed. And so we leaders, they need for step back. You guys are very intelligent people, but we need for step back and let we change our approach. It's not a time where we go for blame or this, but let we just change the way we approach this. Because the way we approach it now is extremely bad because we not take people that we get malaria, we go shape them in aid, we go shame them, we go kill them or go threat them for saying let the person well. How that possible? Now the same thing in they happen inside the brain where this Kush don't take over. It's extremely powerful. And not to just the poor, again, as I indicate, that's not about the people that were poor only. The people them even way well off. In fact, they are in some instances now the one the way they make this Kush therefore continue. The reason for a longer time, and the reason for that is maybe then they titrate or then they take them in a smaller dose because no one let people and notice it and they take them. The other thing too, then can afford for buy them. So then go buy a more expensive way. And where more money don't kind sign any trade, which that means it get for continue for fuel the trade. So it is a physiological thing, not just psychological. Now that we need to understand. Another aspect when I go bring, because when that happen, it means say we get for do testing. We will not do now. We just they see any kind of variety. We say na Kush. We not the test. Of them 500 variants in the how we go know what's one and what's one. And we go see something we know even not to Kush, we say na in because we know the test. So it's so important that we leaders they really take this in matter of testing very, very important. Because without that day, we just the second guess we say. When we test, we go able to forget the data. Just like when you don't point out just now, and Mr. Jamboria also point out, the person we don't become infected, we test. We see the person gets some genetic manifestation panel where now in the fairly Kush or not in the fairly Kush. We don't know the genetic markers in there. Then we go able for know the one that we not take on, we go able for begin for understand where then take and waiting go happen. Or the person gets some epigenetic factors panel where we need to understand. So maybe there is some component of this person where certain variant of Kush day, it will make the addictive nature make it minimize. So when we don't know that day,
I want all you small just because of the people that want to say they listen to this show, and after the people that want to say this show get for rich. You mentioned two scientific language. You said genetic and epigenetic. You say genetic disposition, where sometimes your genetic disposition predispose you for be more easily, how they call them. This thing also will affect you quick. Epigenetic back when also mean for say you get some kind thing there underlying this, that way mean for say if they choke you with small needle no more, it don't turn so food. So I want to make you explain the two for we now, genetic and epigenetic, and how this drug also can easily infiltrate your system. Sir.
Excellent, thank you. So the genetic factor, these are just the remind we all of something we already know. When the cells them go form inside now the womb, the DNA we did it. We grow, we get all of the features them where we go become, whether we go black, we go with the way we eye go there, the way we lip go there, all of and inside that genetic DNA component where we born with. And for some people, the genetics they transfer from one parent to the other. Maybe you can find out say your great grandpapa na possibly be alcoholic or na somebody when you take drug. So some gene they where you don't go up where you they born with, but you're not gonna know that. You're not gonna know that. So it they inside just they wait for a trigger. Maybe like Mr. Jamboria rightly say, stress or due to the economic hardship, you just take on one term. And some people are just one term. That's it. They don't become addictive. Some people you go take a more, you know, go become addictive. So it did. Now, the epigenetic factors, now we environment, thing way now because we don't deal in this difficult scenario, a hardship, the sadness, all of that, they create that atmosphere for now. Even if we're not in our genetic profile, now we can adapt dandy because of the environment where we did. So that's the main, layman distinction on, the genetic and the epigenetic factor.
Exactly. So basically, what in doctor they try for saying I also is that like me so where you the year na me head. Me year it coste now they call for C. But when you reach na the back of me head, even though the ear trunk small, e not trunk like how it trunk all side. E light small and then back e curly. And me back here they grow fast how me front here they grow. So me self one day now take 10 ask question. So now get for no for say inside me granny in lineage. One German man me can play football. So that German man they interest it dey inside me. So now that make me kpako the year where they it gets small call there light, you know as heavy. Then are the genetic I don't talk about so. The epigenetic one. So like for say you environment, make I take salon for example. Because light no dey generator boku. So because generator boku, the fumes dem boku. Because of that, boku of una don develop asthma. Now more could go sir.
Thank you so much for expanding on that. So we've been there for talk about they talk about the testing. We're not how on earth we go able for determine 500 variants? It's just not practical without testing. So this thing I think where the government really need for take very very seriously and act on them. And we're able for do them. And why I say we're able for do them? Why we not form partnership? Just like what you don't say, we're not able to solve this just one institution. I think on a collective effort. If, for example, we involve the institutions that what we get already, sometimes we say, oh, we not get nothing. It's not true. We can begin with what we get. We get Frabe College in Jala, the other institutions. Them. We can begin with the science laboratories. Them. We work with the private sectors and say, okay, now when you they study this subject and they want for take lab work, let we include this testing of variants of Kush. Picking person and go able for doing testing, they not need elaborate equipment at all. We can begin small and then we increase them. Because if we're not able to get the data, if we're not able to get the information, now guess what will go deeper all along. And the more we guess, the more the problem become worse, the more the problem become more dangerous. Because every now and then, the one them really involved in this, like anything, the water they use them for good thing, they use them for bad thing. The more they look into them, then go able to find ways, certain things, then the way they go change, then they go make them much more potent than the one will get so. So now the danger with this. If we're not able to track them now, then when the dangerous one come, it not will take much at all for make people then become paralyzed, for make this become so dangerous and beyond reach, because like a weapon, you just it become make the weapon much more powerful every now and then. That's how this Kush thing dangerous. But I feel say there is hope here if we all can step back and begin to think and understand what's they go on, and let we not treat the people that we don't become affected as outcasts. No, these people may have information we need. We will not begin taking it. Yes. It's very, very important. Very, very important. They have information where we need. I'll give you another example. When there's something very related. When 2000, we all hit with the 2020, where this COVID happened. We don't know at all, waiting for they even do it. But we not go there and begin for shame ourselves. We say, no, let's stop back. Let us stop everything first. The whole world shut down because we don't understand this virus. And we begin to understand, study how the body, they interact with the virus. When we begin to understand, we begin to come up with vaccine them. But the people then, when they take the vaccine, then we study them for know how then they react with them. As time they go on, we they make more and more of them. You see, we not just begin like, no, not just go and solve them. No, we step back and say, no, this not about shame. This not about casting blame. This is about looking at the problem for what it is. If a man creates the problem, make it be worse like that, man can also reverse the problem. Because the natural one day, we're not going to create this kind of problem. But when man intervene and begin for change them, then we don't get to this. So for reverse them, an officer said something go come on at the sky can't help we if we not begin for look at ourselves in the eye and be truthful to ourselves and be compassionate to ourselves. And let we be empathetic to ourselves. And not about this person against that. No. If we bring down the aim, the problem will just continue for grow worse and worse. Because there are more dangerous versions. Again, there are more lethal version of this. But we can begin to address the problem and stop for making our go to a much more deadlier versions.
Thank you, sir. I go give you a break. I see we get a call the kind side. Make I go to the caller and ask the caller waiting he gets for we this evening term or waiting you want to add or which question maybe he gets for doctor. Caller waiting at your name and also you they call from.
Hello, viewers. It's now Umaru the call.
Hello, Umar.
Okay, thank you to the guests now. Because you don't try for education, some food, and make we learn today more about the medical system, where it kind of drugs and so on. But before I ask my question, let I make first a little bit of comment. For instance, because me always like to make a comment on Usade. In the 90s, the one we know, in the 90s, me no know too much of coming, I mean, picking by then. But in the 90s, when drugs business rampant, and everybody knows Switzerland, for instance, now be one of the hotspots, right? But what in government do at that time, then try for regulator. Because then see the prevention side, the drug is already here. So for prevent have been very difficult during the inside. So what you can do then try for discourage the channels. How they try for destroy and discourage them channels here. The government, really imagine, was so innovative that the government opened centers with administer drugs to drugs addicts. It happened as Swiss here. At first, we make for people, let me feel say, at that time, the people who are stupid, they don't know what thing they do. But the thing was so rampant that everybody they take, they never get control, they never get channel. So the only option government say, what thing they do? They will find a therapeutic way, we would administer these drugs as a therapy to then drugs addicts there. And then succeed. And then like today, we get people where they take drugs in Switzerland too much, but you couldn't imagine a open secret. We get places in a city where you see drugs addict, then they enter. Then they go administer drugs legally, officially. Why make them do so? Now because the government want discourage the one way they administer illegal. Because if it is illegal, the government no go get control over that. And I think after we then succeed, then drop down the intake and the illegal smuggling of drugs within Switzerland. Germany send people for can land. The follow up, right? So the question now to the doctor. Now it don't happen. And Sierra Leone, the type of border we will get, now border way very difficult for control. Waiting government to do for regulate the system and discourage the smugglers. And waiting an EU medical advice we go give to us that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I will make Dr. Kargbo write this question down because we get other callers them on the line, and I will take maybe 3 calls. If we get more calls, stop, give them for answer, and then we take more calls. So the caller in question are basically, what can the government do to regulate, and what would be your advice? So you can write down the down. I will go to this other caller. Caller, waiting at your name and also you they call from, please.
My name is Alpha Sise. I call from Alaska.
Okay, Mr. Alpha, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kargbo and Jamboria, Matilda. I thank you for the good work. Yeah, about this drug problem we're going to Salone now. Alaska, yeah, probably one of the states them or the place them that the whole world we they get drug problem. Whether not alcohol now, whether not jamba, whether not meth, whether not other things that wouldn't they take. Probably yeah not the worst place where it be say In fact, 3 or 4 years ago, now these states, because they get places they win rehab centers for them alcoholic recovery patients. So what is they don't begin to find out, before when somebody open a rehab center, then they just bring any patient they will get drug problem. So what did they find out? They find out, say, for example, so man then they na jamba no more than they smoke. So man then they na alcohol no more than they do. So man they na meth than they take. So before we them they put them all in the same rehab center, they can't find out, say, that man way na jamba no more be they smoke. All of a sudden, a year or two later, if they do meth now, if they drink, so because then go mix them the same place, so they begin to find out, say, okay, well now, if anybody want to open any rehab center, you therefore make sure you specific, say, okay, mina alcohol recovery center they open, or mina jamba recovery center open, or mina meth, you therefore be specific exactly which rehab center, so they know exactly who that for putting at that house. Because if you mix them people here together, man, when a jamba no maybe they smoke, a year later or so, it end up for do all the drugs that they are together. So waiting at the plan where probably they don't begin to figure out na salon for make sure say most of them people here now drink no more than they drink. Some they na jamba no more than they smoke na salon, but all of a sudden they begin to switch from jamba to drinking because you cannot put them people here together. And I'll give you an example. Who's are they at the city where they in Anchorage, Alaska, 45-minute drive to another city where they call Wasilla. Wasilla alcohol, the store they opened it till 5 o'clock in the morning. Who's out there, they open till 1. Where the liquor store they don't close, who's out there, the alcohol store they don't close there 1. Because them people are so addicted to alcohol, they rather pay that $300-400 for go buy alcohol, 45 minutes away. And I asked them one day, I said, well, why would I not just go buy alcohol during the daytime and keep them? So that way, when next can now the alcohol store and close, you don't go worry for go pay money like that for go buy and far away. So at some point now say, once alcohol then at the house, the temptation, they cannot resist. For say, okay, well, this liquor, this alcohol then I'm freeze, now wait, say, back row, I can't drink it. I see them see them, not drink that they drink them. They cannot wait. If they see us on the freeze, they know say alcohol then at the freeze. Automatically they drink it. I don't care how it is. So that's not the problem. And another situation too, where one guy they drive taxi 5 years ago, now a patient, where now a 72-year-old patient, and then in escort now be 28. So the 72-year-old can hospital. Then inupiak them, then native them. So after a week later, I think he get better and I then decided for going to the bar within escort. They go to the bar, then go drink 4-5 hours later, they call me back, Alpha can pick me up, I go pick them up. And then the 28-year-old escort, when the young man, he don't drunk already, he don't tell it. The 72-year-old, when the patient, he still stands strong. So the older they get now, the more strong resistance they get for alcohol than when the young people them. So I rest my case for today. Thank you.
Okay, so this call I don't laugh. I think so basically the point where me they try for make is that an addiction is an addiction. And that when somebody is addicted to something, they can go to any length just for satisfy that urge. The first scholar started with an example in Switzerland or in Sweden. When something as well will happen in Canada, if there are Canadians or Sierra Leonean Canadians watching the show, una go bear with me say, some years back, I would say maybe some 7 or so years back, Canada was arrested with the opioid crisis. Not so. They find people and they don't treat people just they for them addicted to opioid. So on top of trying to treat the problem, waiting also the Canadian government decide for doing some province system, especially the province system where the crisis been so bad, and I'm talking about provinces like British Columbia, provinces like Manitoba, and so on, then decide for open treatment clinic. And then treatment clinic, then they not to just no more for go through the psychological therapy with the person, then also na place where they can how they can call them inject, right? Na place where then they go inject, but they were safe spaces. I have family members who are medical doctors who worked in some of those clinics, so I understand very, very much within the caller been they say. But that action then have been a deliberate action by the government with very, very stringent policies, and nobody not been the user now as black market window. I swear to God, we tried that in a salon, the black market window door open so. I know they like you now. The doctor and the nurses then and then go become the kakatu of the dealership. I am telling you.
Exactly.
So every environment with their own solution. That solution they not cut out for salon. Usai 2 day for talk, make we talk and binka kuru, not get for work na salon. Because the one self will not get down there right now. The one when I'm just Panadol, then they push Panadol. Could you imagine? So doctor, I go make you answer that question there. But as you dey answer that question there, where the caller put to we as in what can the government do, right? I also want to talk about the importance of data, where you don't bring collection of data. In collecting data, right now waiting salon gets now 50 bed for mental health. I want make you explain why there needs to be a separation in treating mental health and drug addiction. The drug addiction is separate from mental health. As you the responser, I want make you address that. Thank you.
Okay, so as a way of background, currently, they look at major depressive disorder, where they impact mental health. So we do that research there. So just to give you a background, in our area, we familiar with. Okay, but now I just go and address the first the question. Thanks for the callers, and very intelligent and insightful questions. I'm happy about that. So just for disclosure, me not in at the government and not get any influence with the government. So I not go waiting me again. I only my own opinion here. So, but we don't identify some of the things that we need government for do. Number one, let the government not come with easy solution. What I mean by that easy solution? Oh, we don't catch person with Kush. Let we do this to and do that to, and that's the easy solution. We should avoid that. Anytime we see government do that, they will not say they will really, not to say that no one solve the problem, but then they go the easy path. They no one take time for really understand, dive into the problem and try for address them. The other thing too, make the government not just pass laws them. We do not really look into very properly, because you pass the law, within that they go do. For example, you just pass law on Kush. What they do, they increase the price for them. Now it don't become much more lethal, because people then go they pay more. So some of the examples and where you give, people then understand, say now that go happen. So then rather than do that, they make like the open case for make people then take drug. But as you rightly say, we're not just for import solution from somewhere else and don't bring them as salon. It's completely wrong. It's not scientific. So we need get we own data, begin to collect we own data and try to understand the problems. And then we use them and customize the solution based on what we see, based on what we get available, based on what we get we available to we. And we use that as a solution and begin to work out a solution. Very, very important. Why it will be that way? Every Salonian is in life valuable. We not go take somebody else in life and compare. No, it's because their life is extremely valuable. Let we take time for understand what they go on and then come up with solution. Now, regarding the scenario where the next man bring up, let me just explain this word addiction because I think there is a lot of misconception with addiction within that debate. Now, it's just that when the thing not work for we, then we use them badly. When it work for we say, oh no, not to addiction. For goodness school. You train with picking, you could do one over and over. For me, learn, say for learn book, it good. Then the picking begin for do one. You like you to get now in school, you good because you don't become addicted. Or if you begin for eat cola nuts, just begin eating. The more you do the certain thing then our brain, once you begin for generate good feeling, it tell the brain, yes, continue for doing. Whether the thing externally good or bad, the brain not they listen. The brain just I know I use big terminology now, but it solidify then receptors and then at the brain. They solidify them. When they don't become solidified, you can talk from January to December, not the work. And I did like the example where the man gave you. He said, go drive how many miles for go get them. Why? Because the brains, they tell them, I need this for make her be happy. And within, in general, we too, they look for this world. One for happiness, one security, one for good feeling.
Basically, another for coach doctor, where doctors say it is solidified it in it means say it make it cake na your brain. It cake na your brain. So they take another so it cake na your brain. They begin cake na your brain. They begin cake na your brain till it becomes stone.
Exactly.
Continue, sir.
Exactly.
I want to use myself as an example.
Yes, sir.
I'm addicted to reading books. That I know. I'm addicted to reading and finding out. Tradewe books not been there online. They pay go miles for go read na library. I get all kind library card na me ana. Now we books there, I prefer to pay online and read any kind number of books. I can read any subject. That's what addiction is. What in doctrine they try for say, when we use them for a good purpose, we know they take them as addiction. But addiction are concrete habits where they develop, where in most cases, they able left them. Easy for make you left them. You can left them, but you therefore go through certain pain. I used to smoke cigarettes. When I decided to stop smoking, it took me 6 months. I've been to get all kind of pain in my body, but I stood up to it. And I've been away from it for 10 years now. You understand? That's what addiction is. Something where they do unconsciously, but you not know say they do this thing.
So you just get me to the next point. We're very, very important because it is not just about let people and begin overnight and stop them, because it can lead to side effects too. You get this withdrawal symptoms. Some people can even become suicidal because they not get that again. You just come abruptly small. So sometimes gradual. Now we need the professionals. You need really the professionals for being involved. Make the distinction between mental health and addiction. So we don't clarify within addiction mean just it one to and you brain it don't take over the control of the brain and become solidified. So that you are no longer in control. Some people, due to the genetic makeup, some you say the way how certain things profile we then get, like where Mr. Jamboria gave very nice example. Willpower able for making do that. But you see, even though the withdrawal symptom begin for come, but it fatal. Not all man gets down in at the DNA. Impossible. Some people they need external help. This is where the government can come in for creating space and put the professionals, them help them people, and they go through this. These people should not be left on their own. It's extremely unfair. Because when addiction to reading, we all glad. But we get this one, we abandon them. No. It's all part of the human process, part of the human psyche where we take into consideration. So practical steps then where the government obviously can do. So in terms of mental health, this is now we state of mind, waiting they go on as society, waiting we they see the economic stresses. It's so important that we come up with ways them on how to treat with mental health, because if we not do that, we productivity go low. We not go get people then begin for think properly. We want innovation. We want make people then come up with things that will go benefit the country. That involve thinking, involve people then for spend the time for do that. So if we state of mind not did it becomes extremely difficult. Even if solution they come from outside, we're not even seeing a solution. And I can say for free, there are many solutions right now in Salone where they all around we, but if the mental state of we mind not align with that, the solution go there before we, so we're not able to foresee them. And so mental health is extremely important. And sometimes some people go need some medication for help them in their mental state. Why? Because we all different. Some people they react to stress differently. Some not able to cope with stress. So identify them people in there and see the type of help where they need, and give them that help there. Because we all not the same. We all know we approach the things in the same way. So the more we acknowledge with differences, and also find ways to accommodate these differences, and not to just abandon those people, but finding a way to accommodate with differences is really very important, because every human being is essential, whether they take Kush or not they take Kush. And that's what the other countries then they realize and begin to make provision where suitable for outside and they and the people that we then get, because the most valuable asset now we people. These are the most valuable. We go talk about minerals, about this, but no. It begins with the human being. Very, very important. Not because that person they put for treatment. No. It's as valuable as the person we get money.
If I
Thank
can
you very
come
much,
in,
sir. I want to go to a caller.
Martina,
Yes, sir.
I will just make a quick comment. You see, when they say we not adopt. Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, make I go to the caller and then we
Go
come back.
ahead.
Okay, this
Hello?
will be my last call for today. Caller, waiting on your name and also the call from, please.
Yes, I'd call from Virginia.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, my own contribution I want for make as well. This now we all responsibility. The parents them, both man and woman, and the picking them. What are the means and the government and the doctors them. We all at the salon responsibility. Well, let's start with the parent them. With the parent, they will take and send them all. We'll get picking in a house. We feed them, we clothe them, the parents and everything. So the best the picking them. If we say they don't get problem, the picking them they get problem, they get certain things they will then get where they affect them and then brain. So the responsibility of the parent, we need for picking them down and ask the picking them. Say, I know say you get shelter for sleep, you get food for eat, you get clothes for sleep, but what exactly happen to you? We also don't make a dialogue with the picking them and ask them what's the problem. So we know the problem of the picking them. We try for solve them. If we never solve them, I don't think they will come now. We come to the doctor, then now say me picking like are the suspects or something happen to her, whatever they happen to them. But the government side responsibility, let them create job for people. If a job there, the parent then get job, they go help them picking them more. But if some of the picking them when they find out say them the parent do not get money or food, not they come on the street. When they come on the street, they want to go fend and they go meet a bad company them. Then they begin start to take them bad works and they bad company. So we for make sure say the government for create a job. So the government create a job, the picking then get job or the parent they get job. They be able for not do that thing. But let's say people then get job, they do them back home. but it go minimize because you get job, you know, go smoke, you know, say you go work, you know, say you don't danger the job and go fire you. We they see some military people them with the smoke. When the government take an action, where they see them smoke, then dismiss them from the army or dismiss them from the police. The other people then they learn for saying, no, land do this thing. They begin minimize the thing. I'm not saying go stop, but go minimize. And the government for create like a facility where them go there because some people and then a minor thing can make them it go off for the taking thing and they so. And there comes the doctor then now. The doctor the responsibility. Certain people the way how they affect them is different to the other and the way they affect them. So if they give them dosage, they get for getting this low dose, they get the high dose, but not for make the dosage used to them back because it will be addicted back to them drugs away they give them. And not say them drugs that get affect them. So for make sure say let we get job at that country there. More people in the first state because job not there. Because if you engage yourself, it easy for you know go students in a day. I know the split say you get job, you know go do a move. But we get something for go do, you get something for do. Trust me, like who don't come up, so you know say you get for sleep or prepare yourself for the next day, you know go take them in a day. And the doctor then for make sure say they really get facility where they go train more staff them and more doctors them where go handle lenting and they will possibly get a certain problem them. So some of them are small minor problem and then before we stand, they go smoke. Or some of them could be the list some of them facilities. The people that job say, oh, at Matilda ring, I'm not collect for go above my time. Now small thing they happen also they begin smoke. Small problem, no more not get food or woman stress in the house. You no need for that, but let the government get more facility for people them. Let them make sure say they go to accommodate them and make sure say the doctor them back, that they pay them well for even for help and consoling people who will get them that decision day. So thank you so much. I'd like for be law abiding and I'll pass the time.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. I will go to Mr. Jamboria. Mr. Jamboria, been get a comment before
Yes,
I take
this,
that.
this caller is sweep the carpet small under my foot. What did I be look at? The solution we will for look for Sierra Leone. We can bring in the Western solutions because all what you now talk about help centers, we get on Norway. Drug addicts in Norway, then go outside and they go, then they inject them with a milder version. Then they get people them where they sort of do therapy on them, psychotherapy, etc., etc. Then get houses there, then they put them where people then they go visit them, see them, talk to them, know what are the issues, try for find a way for calm them down, let them come out from this thing. The worst case them, then they carry them to rehab centers. What do you mean they look at in Sierra Leone? We have taken ourselves from who we are. We don't go into a domain where we don't understand. And at that domain, then they cause all this stress in our society where they make you picking and they take drugs. We get to look at the problem, say, we get a percentage of population when our young people where they're about 60%. If 60%, 50% of that 60% become drug addicts, 10, 15 years from now, Sierra Leone is a finished state. Because that population is going to be a useless population on society. 50% of the 60% when are young people. If they become drug addicts, 10 years from now, they are finished. So that means the human resource we for take we country before, we don't destroy them. So how do we do it? Let us go and do a research. Let we study with cultural systems. With cultural systems and get a lot of solutions we will not look at. Some of we were grown in a rural area, we know how them they cure certain things. There not been some you be looking and say they're harsh, some we are not. And I remember sometime around the 1980s, the Ministry of Health been get a program where they train traditional birth assistants them. Them I made them na villages, then they train them for take care, do maternity job. That I know because around that time my mother was working and she was part of the training program for the national health system. Let we look at a way we can get with traditional system involved for help cure this drug abuse. Within communities, let them get certain people, when I train people, them will go they talk to them, drug abusers, yeah, know them problem, get away with them, go send feedback, then the central authorities go know how to take action. But if we continue for the, as I say, if somebody they commit crime, you continue for the talk pan and say you're not criminal, it they become worse criminal. Norway has proven that. Norway, the hotel, them prison, them Bokuna hotel. Because then say, you know they go tell the person but in bad way they do. You they try for pull them from the bad. And for make you get them, for make it come out, they get for trust you. They get for believe you. When you use empathy, now that you they work towards, when the person trusts you, that's how you able to control them for do what him for do like come up on the problem. So rather than we look at the Western approach only, let we see what in the power with cultural systems we go work. And I'm sure there is something in the cultural system that
Yeah.
I intend for definitely Dr. Kargbo this, but not today. I'm keeping it for another session because I'm looking at the time, and when I know me with time, I'm very meticulous and I'm a stickler for time. I like for respect people in time, just like I like for respect me on time. So, Dr. Kargbo, the question where I want to ask you before I ask you my final question, or before you say your final statement for tonight, your title say AIP and DP development CMC lead. All the one and then acronyms them. Do you broken down to the people them so they understand what in all this boku acronym mean?
Thank you very much. So what's in that they mean, when you go buy any medicine store, when you go buy capsule, inside the capsule are just the outside, and then the actual drug the inside. So one of the expertise now for know how for make the waiting the inside. Make them in a way we will be at a standard equality where any sign at the wall it will be acceptable. And the capsule itself, for know how for put that medicine inside the capsule than at the drug product, These are two different expertise, highly specialized. So me involved in the manufacturing of that. So one of my expertise now for do that. For ensure that waiting people in the take, it gets what we say they do, lay do lay get that quality there in we manufacturing process.
Okay.
I don't know if Danny you want to go more. Okay. So when I see the other thing too, you said lead. So I'm involved in understanding how we body they work when it comes to drug. Waiting the drug they do na the body, and waiting the body they do to the drug. So there are two different aspects. So you want any drug where you go inside your body, make you do certain thing where you tell and say for do, but at the same time make you eliminate them, let you go outside. And now one of the things them way so dangerous with this Kush because now the brain not to 98% of drug not the good. But it's just to turn out Kush now one of them drugs and the way they're gonna be brain. And anything where they're gonna be brain, it could create a lot of damage because there are many regions in we brain. We get certain functions. And we're not even going inside for talking about doing which region of the brain where these could potentially they interact. So we get side that we brain where they deal with we emotion. We get side that we brain where we deal with we reasoning. We get side that the brain where they deal with we emotion. So all of these are various regions within the brain. So when something good for no waiting this drug they do not in various regions and it is very, very important. Very important. So
Thank you.
also they look into yes
Yeah, go
into
ahead.
into what needs to be done before this thing any drug go into human. So when they do the research was again understand exactly what thing they happen in animals and understand even before we use animals, understand them before we get into humans. So that also an area where get some speciality in.
Okay. So the reason, Fambulem, the reason we make I ask Dr. Kargbo for make it explain to we all of in specializations then are because I want make una understand the type of person way they talk to unu right now. Unu na for go take capsule swell and now na sabi. On that capsule the way they go take and sweller. In your work na for make sure say waiting the inside that capsule day. Na in suppose for day, enough for day under, enough for day on top, but waiting that capsule they suppose for do na your body. Na in no more if for do na your body. And after that, where that capsule they go inside your body, the parts then are your body where the capsule for tap. Now they is supposed for tap. Enough for go over, enough for go on top. So I hope say uno they understand. And then he talk again about the brain. Uno can quick for say people like head they shake. So that thing where they inside one I can say the head they shake, the head they shake. He also sabi and know bottom and know say if you take something wey not go the right side and it happen for go side where they make the head they shake, waiting for do for make sure say the head not shake where it not supposed for shake. So I been just want make no more una understand the kind caliber of person we don't sit down so today. We don't take in time for explain certain things then to we. And by the look of things, I know for say very soon una go begin they taunt me say, Matilda, when is Dr. Kargbo coming back? I know it already. I know my audience. So let me already say it out loud. I will work with Dr. Kargbo and I will have Dr. Kargbo shortly because Bokutin and the way we not talk about today. We not talk about the importance of data. How to go about collecting data, accurate data, and how for even enter the data, waiting it mean the different components of data that we they need for analyze. Because without data, you cannot develop efficient and effective policy. That's just it. He talk about the effect of the brain, the different parts there. We're not even go inside that day. We not talk about laboratories, waiting the need for test. Whose kind laboratories they need? Whose kind machine and equipment then they need? Now, know for say a few weeks ago, we see one cook shop. Not to that kind cook shop there we they talk about Nayaso. We they talk about things there where kosher, things them where according to medical standard, medical grade are acceptable and things there like that kind of thing and thing. So Dr. Kargbo, you have been a gem tonight, I must say. And I know for say Boku people and get for watch this show, Boku people and get for come back to me with questions. And like I say, I know say in not so long a distance, me and you go get for Sidon Nayaso back because I know my audience. I have teased them. Now I don't tease them, they want for eat more. Then they want for make her bring the full dinner. Then greedy. That is the thing. My audience are very greedy. And I go tell you now, not very greedy. Not greedy bad.
That's part of the Sierra Leone and DNA.
You know? Then go want for make her more and go say, no. That plate where you didn't put for make we eat too small. If I bring bigger plates come. So I have heard you in advance. A bigger plate will come, okay? Dr. Kargbo, I want to make you say your goodbye to people for now until we meet again shortly.
Thank you so much for everybody. We don't turn out for listening and the one that we get for listening in the future, and also to you and Mr. Boye for this privilege for really can talk to now. For me, once, as we always say, once there is life, there is hope. I don't want to make the people and give up on the system or anything at all, because if we give up on this stuff, that's it, we're done. But if we take the courage for look at this in a way where we don't begin to talk about it. Again, there are more aspects just like we don't identify. We go able for, even though solve and completely, but we'll begin for address this problem until we're fixable. Because if we able for take medication na the market and you take them, it will make you well. Now the same knowledge, it's just that we get for change them differently and use them for take this. Now all of the same pathways. So we can do this, and we encourage really the policymakers and as you rightly identify, Mr. Boye, we get resources already. There are medicinal value of plants and what we get, where we can be part of the solution. Traditional things and what we do already can be part of the solution. Let me not just assume the solution therefore come all externally. No, we already have some things in us where we can begin from. So I want to tell you, I thank you again and the privilege for make me come and host this program.
Thank you very much, sir. Jamboria, tell Fambul then goodbye.
Well, what's in this pub in the Salako Maxwell? I go go. Then say Kapu sense no Kapu word. And I believe say Boku sense don't follow ya today. We welcome with a go. I go with a go so then kaima then. Awanu afumami. Pondesha nyalima.
Okay, that is it, people. So I want to take a few minutes for do few things as we close. The first one is that I had the intention of talking about the slapation of the Western area Minister Nabil Tunis. The one for talk about that incident day, but I'll push it to next week because I don't feel it's an appropriate subject for bring inside this wealth of knowledge. The second thing I want for talk about, where again I go skip till next week, is the attack on former Honorable Emmanuel Saidu Conte. Now, these two matters aside, I want for talk to Una about the VOS scholarship scheme where we deem fit. We are working on it, trying to set up the account and everything. And you know, we are a preacher and a doer of our own message. We want for help the young generation. We want for see them succeed. We want for make sure say if somebody they put in it all. But the only thing that stands between that person where they put in it all and where they prove and say they put in it all, despite the odds being against them, they demonstrate say I can do this. I think say you ought to win a society, forgive them a boost, forgive them a helping hand. Standing at the situation of this young man where they can't tell on about so where now we own picking now a son of the soil. The Becker results then come out na door. Two people then tie for the first place na the entire country for the Beke result. One na girl pikin Mariama Safa. The other one na boy pikin John Sita. Whereas Mariama Safa, we believe say, because we not get any report for sure otherwise say, something in get sababu and he don't prove himself. Oh, Mariama Sise, sorry. Whereas Mariama Sise, something in get sababu for move, for go ahead na the next stage after the Beke. We get to young pikin, where according to all we investigations where we don't do, in papa no go able push and go past usai, he don't reach so. Because now waiting the papa don't use all this term for giam and for esango usai don't reach so na attire na I been the sell, na I the sell. And usai thing don't reach so right now, attire no go able do the work again. And we all know say this free education what we all they talk about. So do ya, my viewers and listeners thing. There's only one thing separating this boy's education and his future, and that is economic power. That's it. It can't force, like I said, two people then tie for first place. This sweet Pekin, John Sita, and we other girl Pekin, Maria Masise, now they all two tie first place. But for John Sita, in your family, they are no able for push and pass usai it don't reach so. So do ya, viewers and listeners, I am calling on all of your good conscience. If na $5, if na $10, if na $20, however you are able, do ya way we open that account day. Do ya. Una no say usai me day, yuki no day. Una no say usai Mr. Kargbo day, yuki no day. Everything will be out there in the open for you guys. At the big una. Make we all engage and put hand under this we picking yasu. Make it not be say he reach yasu and he tap so for him. Just because in people they not get. To ya at the big one. When the time reach where we announce the account, where we announce the number, do ya? You all know I don't ask for much on this platform. But when I come out and I make a plea, because it is something passionate to my heart, dear to me, and also for the sake of humanity. With that, I wish me American folks them happy belated Thanksgiving, because obviously my show came after Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your loved ones, your family. I get boku family members over the border. Make a talk and I also, because some of them they watch me right now, then greedy me, yes, and greedy me because they not call me for can eat, and I know say they eat baby one, but all the same, I love them all dearly. As usual, may God bless we all. May God bless Mama Salone. To the two gentlemen with me tonight, may God bless you all. May God bless us all. Onotata.
Good afternoon and welcome to Voice of Salone Radio.
Good afternoon to the listeners.
Yeah, so what are your name?
My name is Ibrahim, sir. Ibrahim Pedal.
Ibrahim Pedal, what is Kamara. You understand say born if you go come force in the whole country?
Yes, I'm a Pekin. Okay. Actually, This bobo then on the side from Aputana from nursery. And an office he counts any bad results way so far for Pulana Kargbo school. First inside the first class to from 1 to 4 it is inside it. So I look at I say they prove well, the teachers they prove well. So I not see need for La Pulana Kargbo any school. So if you can come this guy where I come put this the I don't know waiting for talk about the school. Really. Waiting this school do for me. I feel say if God will give me any pikin self, I feel to say na back I go put her because of the school they learn, the teachers them way, the madam who get in school waiting do, the teachers they all look brilliant, they good looking, everything, the teaching inside problem no dey, then the studies. They always send messages to me now the phone they say when pikin come out school, not for our span, not for cook, not for everything, now for study. Indeed, I congratulate them, I tell them all thank you to what they do to me. I'm proud of what happened. So one like me they talk to you now, so we born the pikin now attire the cell. Now empty attire the cell, I no gets. And lunch na 10,000 a year every day. At times we meet up at the biggest one and money eat the Kargbo 10,000, not all the time. It is strange. I dey constrain, I dey up to 14 years work no dey. But I tell God thank you, wetin God do for me so. So when I come back, I dey tell una thank you. Then you when Mr. Lamin Kargbo, where they with me, I dey tell am thank you. So now
that's the picture plan we get for this picture.
Well, Eboku, now because of we no day for there, I go to do team for her. And then they cry to Papa government, let them put on and help me. And if you chance there, you go see who's how they leave me the pikin. You go really no say and not comfortable for me na a caretaker. Mina a caretaker. So for say like in daddy that kind of day better day or better day no. If you now what they talk so you say we don't you go look how the leader men the pikin. But the bobo in the voting mind, not to the leader place, it the voting mind say Allah land. And it make the bobo make me happy. It make I don't know. So you see?
So in that whole process, I be the monitor. Will you not go school? I be the monitor for me studying now.
Fine. God bless you. The problem is it I look at a seminar land, me picking for land. So I dey put that pressure there, they look at how are the constraints, they look at how they get the money, they join Osusu. They join Osusu, even where I can pay week before last and they pay complete. But all the woman know say now the bubble starts, they help me as Komra. So I can give half, sometimes I direct back what I get I can give. That's why you can be with me, sir.
Okay, so you ever put a picking after school classes or now already school normal process more best with that 10?
Well, I don't ever get somebody where I go say since when me bobo start school now, I don't think I can go give every teacher or this that. Everything about the school now this left for it.
So how about you? What's when you go take now back you get for put
well, I believe that say I'm not ever can go no side. But me I believe that say I talk to the nation, let people and put CI and me bobo say the was a go prove and pass so back. That's not me own believe it.
Okay, then now the picking papa will come first, now the whole country. Thank you for very much for talk to me.
Thank you too. I tell the nation they always listen my voice. Me na pedal where somebody the way people know say because of my if I say Ibrahim not to all man na pedal name because I play for this country. Me na the former goalkeeper. So boku man na pedal name. Well, I meant for Kush Angels. I meant for boku team them. I meant for one team na Kutogo where they call Igushima. Kutogo. So I meant boku leagues there. I don't even play the Shawano, but people in the way know me. They might feel I put school. You see, so Bokuma if I say pedal, now people go know me. So if I say Ibrahim, it go look doubt. So that make I put that pedal there.
So if you highlight some of the facilities we want maybe can get, make do XML, it means to the credit to the government, credit to any NGO.
Papa Boku, I say now make I use the language here. I credit to everybody, Papa government. I credit to the president, the excellency president, when I Julius Madabio, they put on and help me. I no get really like how they tell you so. I now torments. How for start, how for end, I no know. Me we born am, I no go school. So I declare to una all una combine, put on one side, let them help me for God and Nabi. I declare to the Madam Morgan school, I declare to the teachers them, and I believe say let the teachers they will do this thing for me. I'm not going to get thing for say I go do to them. I dey pray to God because of I dey pray, I dey ask God for them, let God promote them, picking them, let God men will not suffer for nothing. Because when you get picking, and really people in the way they admire me, let's say yesterday people in the way they had inside, and then boss I wanna call them. Waka fine. Somebody who holding a house, then count argument the way can say even call me picking, say people in the arguing, and later he say join inside. Where they tell and say the bobo will come first and papa na outside they say. But really, I don't do example where for me. Only attire accountable. I mean, God advise me still another one. Me na a poor man. I need to work, no nothing, and no skill. Na attire only at the cell.
All right, thank you very much. We'll continue the interview. I will cry. Thank you very much for taking me time.
My name is
So can you tell me which school are you attending?
I am attending the African International Academy and Senior Secondary School.
What age are you?
I am 15 years old.
How did you feel when you pronounced you as the best person in the whole country?
I feel good and fulfilled. Honestly, when I had the congratulations, I simply because I have worked hard to achieve the trust in me.
Okay, so what are your future plans for SS1, SS2, SS3 performance going for the WAS?
A continuation of the same excellent performance, to put simple. I am also planning to take the first position during my WAS examination.
And what are the mechanisms have you put in place for you to become first again for WAS?
You should be studying very hard and hardworking in class.
So what do you want to tell others that are unfortunate to come first in the Becker process?
Okay, my advice to my colleague students is that success do not come overnight. They have to study and get prepared for any task overhead.
All right, thank you very much. This is VOS, Voice of Salone Radio. We get you live now, different platform, YouTube, and with Together app. So what do you want to tell the listeners now?
I want to tell the listeners that thank you very much. Once again, my name is Matilda J.
All right, thank you very much.
I am Mr. Boye from African International Academy, Junior and Senior Secondary School.
So who are you in the school?
I'm a staff, and I'm also the former staff for Sister John, the boy that took the first position in the 2024 Becker examination.
So as a form master, how do you feel when you came first in the whole country?
Actually, it was a plus to me when I heard that John Sita happens to take the first position. Despite the number of candidates that attempt the exam, he managed to take the first position. It was not a surprise to me really, because I know him. I have been teaching him from GSS1 and I know what he's capable of doing. Actually, it was not surprising to me, and it's just that I am more excited because Sita is one of the candidates or one of the students I will be expecting to lift the name of the school higher, and he proved us right, and he did as we expected.
So tell us more, how was his performance in class?
The performance of Sita was not that bad. Sita is one of the top 10 students in class. From JSS1, I got to know Sita. In my subject I'm teaching him specifically, that is business study, he used to take first position there. And till he was promoted to JSS3 and happens to be his former master. All the test grades, all the exam conducted by the school, he took excellent position. He has been taking, if not first, but second. So when he was pronounced the first candidate in the country, that was not surprising to me actually. If I know what he's capable of doing.
All right, thank you very much. Yes. Name please.
Uncle Cicewise.
So who are you in the school?
I'm a teacher of this aforementioned institution and also a former staff for JSS3 pupils.
How do you feel when your school came first in the entire Becker?
Actually, I felt good, and I knew it's an achievement we are going to make because we have been working for it relentlessly. And we do normally have the support of our proprietor and proprietors. We do motivate us as teachers, and we working to achieve this glory we have got today. So I felt very good.
So as a teacher, what are the methods have you been doing for these kids to become first in the exams?
Bro, there are many. Of course, people that have background in education, we have what to call the teaching pedagogies. So here we do observe them. We ensure that each pedagogy we put into practice to the latter. So our kids, many times when we train them, they are able to comprehend. So we are making use of the pedagogies.
So what are these pedagogies?
Pedagogies, that is the teaching techniques.
And what are some of the techniques you use in the classroom?
To start with, I do love to give my kids regular exercises, especially as a language teacher. When it comes to the continuous aspect, kids normally find it very difficult to cope. But one of my techniques I use to employ for me to be able to captivate their mind is regular exercises. And I believe that one is one of the aspects that contributed to this glory. Or that
as a teacher, as a languager, what are the performance of Sitia in class?
And exceptional. If I could say, his performance is always exceptional. He has been good Yes, he has been a good student since his JSS 1 level, JSS 2, and on to JSS 3. He has been a promising boy, actually.
As a teacher now, so what are the things have you put in place for him to continue his performance?
First and foremost, we continue to motivate him. Yeah, and for me to use the inevitable rhetoric, though he's from a deprived background, will not allow that to be weakness for him. So some of us who are educational practitioners, we are ready to put arms on deck with the family to support this boy so that you continue to do more.
All right, thank you very much.
God bless you. It's a pleasure speaking to you.
Say make we drive Kush na salone, but we life them.
That is so right, yeah now. What's if they do what we bother them they deny? Push on down the hill, now them body just they try. So foot at them body they and now they just they cry. Now we bother them foot so they swell now why? I don't know if now the chemical or what's in them they put. Best now for avoid them, nothing but the suit. Other food and they for it, come up and Kush. We say bring this message so you do work for you.
Every day we dey lost it man their life because of good.